Welcome.
Go
I
ahead, V.
stole
You do it
Smiley's
first.
welcome. Ladies first. Go ahead.
Welcome, everyone, to our very second Moonbagz token reveal. Today we have with us V, our esteemed leader of the project. We have James Pelton, who is one of our celebrity Moonbaggers. And we have Alpha Cruz, who is our guardian, who keeps us safe in the community. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having me. Really, really happy to be here. Glad I could make it for a bit.
We are too.
Yeah, I have to say, James, you're growing out your hair.
Not on purpose. I just, it's a lot of work to go get a haircut. So
I
next time
know.
you see me, it'll be shorter.
Yeah, I haven't been able to make it to the barber either lately, so this is what we get.
Hardly noticed. Hardly noticed.
It looks good. So for everybody who's new, who actually doesn't know what Moonbagz is, V, do you mind just giving them a very brief overview of what we're talking about today?
Absolutely. So the sale is now closed for good for all these Moonbagz. And essentially, it's a token portfolio holding play for the bull run, where we chose a bunch of tokens under different narratives. People invested in them through an NFT share. And then we had special guests who also sold theirs and made their own picks. And Mr. James Pelton was one of those guests. So we have him here today. This is week 2 of our reveals. We're revealing one pick per NFT type for 12 weeks. And we'll let him talk about his pick first and why he chose it and why he thinks it's going to help him win this competition. But in the end, we're all going to be winners because we're all going to receive multiple X's.
That's right. That's right. Together, everyone achieves more. So yeah, totally agree. So my pick right now is Flux, and I don't know if you want to throw up my screen there, just so people like visuals, I think. But Flux is a decentralized cloud. So if you think about like Amazon Web Services, people run their servers on Amazon. It's very expensive and it's very centralized. If Amazon goes down or Amazon decides, hey, we don't want you to have that type of website or content anymore, they really can shut it down as much as they want. And so what Flux is looking to do is they are looking to decentralize that. So your servers are no longer just run on Amazon, but they're distributed across their node holders. And these are real nodes, not like the DeFi Ponzi nodes that we've had in the past. But these are real nodes where servers can run. And it's significantly cheaper. In fact, it's about 90% cheaper than running on Amazon. So, for example, I was working with a company and their server costs were about $10,000 a month. And when they moved to Flux, it ended up being about $1,000 a month. So it saved them $9,000 a month. Exact same functionality, but in a decentralized, cheaper way of doing it. So when I'm looking for tokens, I'm looking for utility. I'm not really looking at me personally, not really looking at meme coins and things that aren't doing anything. But I'm looking for strong business use cases. So right now, Flux is my pick.
Interesting. Right. Can I ask you, does the community, do you think, have any type of bearing on how this project will do over the next year?
Sorry, I'm muted.
Yeah, sorry. I'm new to this YouTube thing, So, one thing, I spoke with the Flux team and I gave them kind of a list of some things they need to work on because their technology they've got down, but they need to work on the community aspect. They need to work on the marketing side of things. They need to work on getting their messaging in a way where even non-crypto people would consider getting into it. Because it's such a strong business use case, just saving. I mean, there's some companies I've worked with that spend, $300,000, $400,000 a month on servers. So you can revolutionize that business by lowering those server costs, and it becomes more stable, more secure. But they need to work on their marketing so that these people, nobody's ever heard of Flux. So yeah, strong community is going to need to be a part of it, and that's something they need to work on. They don't have the type of community that these meme coins have. Which is kind of funny. and their marketing is something they're going to need to get in shape. But I'm working with them on some of these things, so that's one of the reasons I pick them, is because I have some influence in what they're doing. So,
All right, so I have a question. How managed are they as far as what if someone were to put up illegal or inappropriate content? Is it a DAO-based kind of voted off the island, or is there someone actually curating and guarding those aspects?
that is a great question. My understanding, that would be a better question for the team. I don't actually know, but I don't think that there is anyone moderating that or anything like that. It's decentralized, but there's not a DAO or anything in charge of it. So that's something they'll have to work on for sure when, regulators start looking at things like this as they get bigger. Sometimes teams kind of punt those legal things until later, when then they have more money that they can pay the lawyers to work out some of that stuff. They might have an answer, but I actually don't know. I was looking on their website to see if they say anything about that. But no, great question though.
All right. I saw someone in it was Mr. Miyagi. Hello, Mr. Miyagi, our wise sensei. He asked, does it fall under the deep in category? I would think so. I think it takes infrastructure and decentralizes it. So I would say yes. But just so everyone knows, our guests did not have to pick per our narratives. They could pick whatever tokens they wanted, which fell under any narrative. They could all be the same narrative. They could be different. So we won't say this is James' deep in pick, but it certainly could be one of many deep in picks.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, Flux has been around for a while. They actually started before DPIN was really like a big narrative in crypto. So they were kind of DPIN before DPIN was cool. So like that.
Hey,
Right,
how far from the all-time high, or how many X's do you think, Mr. Pelton, that it'll run in the bull run?
That is a great question. Let me check I was going to check what their market cap was today. So whenever I'm looking for prices, I always look at the market cap, because the price of the token can only go as high as the market cap will allow it to. So if you're at a, $20 billion market cap, there's no way that you're going to be able to 10x from there. Like, it's just not a thing that's going to be able to happen very easily. So Flux is currently sitting at a $240 million market cap. Which is a really good range, I think, because it's not, if you go too small on the market cap side of things, then your risk goes way up, because, a $2 million market cap, yeah, you have room for 1,000x, but you also have room for the company just to go out of business tomorrow. And so I really like this, kind of 9-figure market cap range, where I think they could easily get from 200 million to 2 billion market cap. So that would be a 10x. So that's kind of what I'm looking for with Flux, is safer. I'm getting quotes because nothing is really safe in this space or in any space. But I'm looking for a safer 5 to 7x over this bull market is what I'm hoping with Flux.
And that reminds me of a great saying. I want to share with people that it's much easier to 10x twice than to 100x once.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's a great quote.
Yep.
So, all right then. Is there anything you want to add, tease about other picks, talk about, James, while we have you? I know you have limited time, so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I have another meeting coming up here in a little bit, but 2 other picks that are going to be in different ranges. So my blue chip pick.
Oh no, but don't say all your picks. We're revealing them one per week.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
just if you want to maybe tease one or talk about anything else about your pick on Flux.
I will say, okay, so I won't give my other picks, but I will say the main thing I'm looking for is utility. Because I've been burned so much by just crypto stuff that doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't solve any actual business problems. And so there's not real revenue. And so it's hard for a business to succeed in that. It works okay when, Ponzi-nomics work okay when the markets are flowing the way you hope they can, and when there's people excited about it. But you don't want to have to rely on these constant marketing pushes in order to keep a token going up long term. So all my picks are going to be something that have some kind of utility behind them. So there's a little tease for what's coming up.
Okay. And further than
Sounds good.
utility, would you say they all have real revenue sources? Because I've seen stuff with utility, but they end up just circling their token through it, and they never actually receive any other form of actual revenue. So it doesn't really help their token, right? Like they have a purpose, but then they just recycle their token over and over again.
Yes, right. At some point, you need money coming from outside in if you want your token holders to make any money. And especially if you're going to be paying out tokens like Flux does for the node holders, they're paying out Flux tokens. And so, like you said, that's inflationary. So the only thing that's going to happen is the value of the Flux token is going to go down unless there is some kind of revenue coming in. And so, like for Flux, the revenue stream is very clear. That there's a business use case that most companies are already paying for servers. And so really you're just asking people, hey, do you want to save money on your servers? But a real clear use case, real clear revenue stream, very clearly no Ponzi-nomics involved. And so, yeah, absolutely great point. That's what I'm looking for.
Cool. I have a couple more questions from the audience. Crypto Vault wants to know how much of your bag was allocated to Flux?
That's a great question, and that's always a little hard to track because coins are always going up and down, and so
Right.
I have about right now I have about $30,000 worth of Flux, and so I won't get into my whole entire portfolio, but I have a portfolio with a lot of stuff in it because I've been in crypto for a long time. I'm a YouTuber, so I'm always experimenting and getting into new stuff. So percentage wise, it won't make that much sense, but I have about 30,000 in there, which is a significant amount. I don't put that much into most projects.
Now, I think Crypto Vault might have been asking how much of your Moonbag was allocated to Flux because you were able to give a different percentage to each token in it. If I'm not mistaken, without looking, I do believe yours were all evenly distributed. So I think all of your picks got an even distribution.
Okay,
so,
yes. Thank you. Good thing you're here, man. You're just helping me out left and right. Mute buttons on, not understanding questions. Man, next time you come on my channel, I'm going to have you lead.
All right. It's because I look like a monster. I am a monster, so I understand our monsters.
Right. And Mr. Gabo says, hey, what have you been up to, Mr. Pelton, lately?
Yeah, so I'm a business guy by trade, and so crypto. I went through this DeFi season where I wasn't really focused on business. I was focused on just weird DeFi stuff. You guys know what I mean. If you're part of the space, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And after being kind of burned here and there through the bear market, I'm kind of going back to my roots with business. So I'm really excited about the way that blockchain technology and crypto can help in business. So I'm an advisor for many businesses, and so I'm kind of trying to show them how blockchain can help in their businesses. For my audience on my YouTube channel, just really focused on solving real world problems, starting your own business, starting your own side hustle, because that's where revenue comes in, is when you solve problems. So it's all about problem solving for me right now.
Awesome. Good. We appreciate that you contributed to our Moonbagz as one of our celebrities, and we're excited. We really hope that your bags does well.
Thank you so much. Well, I appreciate that you considered me a celebrity. That's very
totally.
What an honor.
We use the term loosely here at
It's like influencer. Yeah. No, I totally get it. No, it was fun, and happy to be part of this community. It's always a good time.
Thank you. So I guess we should probably move on to some of our next picks. V, what would you like to share next?
Yeah, I guess let's just ask the audience if they have any final questions, but if not, we will move on and talk about our picks for the week. So, audience, this is your last chance at a James question.
Last chance. You'll never probably see me on camera again. So
I hope not.
Not being a YouTuber and all.
Yeah, right. I'm always an open book. So please feel free. You can always reach out to me. Come check out my channel. Shoot me an email. Even, happy to schedule a few minutes just to talk through your situation. If you're stressed out about, some losses or whatever, Happy to help however I can. So, and really appreciate this community and just thank you guys for what you do in the space as well.
Thank you.
Well, thank
And we
you.
are celebrating our 1-year anniversary coming up on August 11th. You are welcome to stop by the server and say hi. We're going to have activities and fun things going on. And you are always welcome as one of our friends.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I would love to. I will be there.
Cool. Awesome.
All right. So before we get into our picks, I will mention the Moonbagz dashboard is almost done. It's a very comprehensive, nice dashboard we took a lot of time with. Our new designer, we have a new designer on board who's been working on it with our front end team. So last night I sent them the final tweaks, and I believe we'll be ready to launch it very soon. So probably, I won't promise because we know things keep coming up, but probably by the next reveal, you will have the dashboard up to look at and to follow along with. So that is that news. And now we will start with our picks. And hey,
look
we have
who
another
popped in.
Hey,
Sorry, I'm late.
welcome.
Fashionably late.
Oh, bye, James.
Bye,
James.
James.
Ah,
I guess
damn.
he's gone.
James left.
There was only room for one.
Ships in the night. Ships in the night.
How
No,
are
I
you,
think
Mr.
Richie scared
Mischief?
him off, man.
Yeah, well, I was going to start our picks, but since Richie popped up, let's start with Richie's pick for this week. So
Okay.
Sounds good.
the one we have for you to talk about is one that people might find a little hard to find the ticker or the site, which is PTGC.
Oh, okay. Right. So, yeah, it can be very hard to find this out. Let me just bring up Index Screener then, and then we can have a look through it. So PGTC is Gray's currency, I believe the actual name of it, which is on Pulse Chain. And the reason I added it in actually is because I was listening to AJ last week and he started talking more about Pulse Chain. And I just thought, oh no, I don't have a Pulse Chain pick. And actually, I do believe that at some point in the next year, Pulse Chain is going to rip, right? But I didn't really want to choose Pulse Chain because might do very well, but these small caps on Pulse Chain might do better than Pulse Chain, actually. So I thought I could go with, something like PDAI, which is extremely degenerate. But then I thought, no, I kind of like the Gray's currency. And what they do essentially is liquidity management through the token, where they're just tying it with liquidity on everything on Pulse Chain possible. And with that, if Pulse Chain pumps, this is one of these tokens which is just going to rocket because it's tied with everything in liquidity that is a Pulse Chain blue chip. I would pretty much call them that. So that's pretty much how it works. I wasn't actually prepared to talk about this one, though, to be honest.
We caught you off guard.
You did, yeah. The price performance has been very bad recently, which is another reason why I decided to go for it. But if you
I think you can say that for all of Pulse Chain for the past month or two at least. So
quite a while, like since December.
No, they had one pump in like some way halfway, the midpoint. They had a little bit of excitement because I had PDAI at 1 point something and 2 cents, and then it went up to like 4. Oh no, I think it went up to 6 cents, and then dropped, or 6/10 of a cent. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then it dropped all the way back down almost. So I think it had like a week of excitement, and then it faded again.
I know it'll come back. Just need this SEC case to go. But if you look on Index Screener, for example, they're tied with Pulse, DAI, Atropa, PulseX, Hex, Pulse DAI, also with UFO, which is another token in their ecosystem, I do believe. They're also tied with Teddy Bear, all with varying amounts of liquidity, right? Which they build up. The big one is $8 million market cap. And if you look at the chart, they went absolutely parabolic, which was cool, and I was holding it. Didn't sell. Was 15x actually. Wow, wait, 15? Yeah, 15,000% pump from November to March, and then it's just gone down and down and down, continuously down 80% pretty much from the top. So it's, in my opinion, down 80% from that going down with the whole ecosystem seemed like the best kind of buy to go for. But that is PTGC, which I really don't know why they didn't change the ticker to something more catchy, but
Yeah, you would
They
think
went
maybe
for it.
they use gray or
Yeah, exactly.
or who
Gray's
knows, but
currency, because the logo is like an alien, the
Mhm.
gray aliens and all that. Yeah, you can stake the token. I haven't been on their website for a while actually. This was one of my shoot in the dark. Something on Pulse Chain is going to explode, and this was the one I went for in the end. Was the
yeah, I
Gray's
think
currency?
if I'm not mistaken, this one was your lowest allocation, right, of your bucket?
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
the risk play. I do have lots of DMs that come very often asking me to cover this as well. That kind of convinces me as well. Their community is quite strong, though. A very strong community and a very active Telegram, which is always a great thing. And they don't
Well, we have
really.
nothing in the grays. Now we have it in our Moonbagz. We definitely
Yeah.
also like alien tokens because alien base is one of our bigger holdings at Monstrous since last year. So
Yeah,
that's
that's on base, right?
yeah, it's actually our most profitable position we've ever had. So, and
Wow.
that's over a full year now. I think we're up probably about 4 to 5x on it in value since we've held it for a year, and that's not counting all the yield it's generated us over that time period. So,
Wow, that's impressive.
it's
I
yeah,
think
and to show people, we held it. It dropped almost 90% while we were holding it. The yield shriveled up to nothing, and then it came all the way back up. So,
wow. Okay. And now, would you
and
suggest people jump in?
yeah, it's not in our Moonbag picks because we already hold so much of it. But we do, we work with them closely. They're the first one that let us set up our Golems product, whereas other dexes are still being very, very difficult to work with for that. So yeah, we have a great relationship with them. We know a lot of their inside internal roadmap. So I think they have a great chance to be one of the top dexes on base, personal opinion. So if they are, they're still at such a small market cap for a dex like that. If base runs, if they stay in the top 3 or 4, that's something that can easily still like 10 to 30x maybe. So
Wow, and it's not in your Moonbag.
it's not in our Moonbag because we didn't want to look too biased.
Yeah.
True.
But we also
True.
had, other picks, and we have a lot of monster exposure to it already. So we were just like, no, we'll skip it in the Moonbags, but definitely could see it performing very, very well. Well, just while we're talking about aliens in general, I guess.
Yeah. So I was checking, and you can actually stake the Gray's currency on their website, and you can withdraw it at any time, which means you can stake my allocation. And
that is perfect because that's the next actually task we have to do with Moonbags is now that all the Moonbags are there, we got to go through the whole list, find which ones have safe staking, no lockups, put all that to work, and then get that bonus yield and start collecting that. So,
do you guys know about Atropa?
yes, I own some personally. We've also, I believe it was with Atropine for quite a while. We were farming Pine Atropa.
I'm still in there, I think.
Yeah, and we eventually exited it maybe like a month ago because it was just slowly decaying away. So
yeah,
we cut that one. But
yeah, I haven't checked it. Maybe I should have checked it. That's the thing with Pulse Chain, though.
You might be the only liquidity left in that pool.
No, surely not. Because I'm so confident in Pulse Chain in the long run that a lot of these farm positions, I just go in there and then I just walk away for a while and come back in 3 or 4 months. Usually you find that you've made quite a big bag because they seem to pump so viciously, but then dump horribly at the same time.
Yeah, they do. So, you know what? Let's see if anyone in the audience has a question for Richie or his pick.
I have a question. So because this project is backed by stable coins, do you think it's going to have a more stable trajectory over the next year in price?
No, well, it's not only backed by stable coins, though. It is backed by Pulse Chain and by, I don't think it's just backed by stable coins, is it? The Gray currency.
I'm not certain. Yes, sir.
It says the Gray's currency is the answer to a severe problem. Why can the corrupt leaders profit off our taxes paid for every dollar we make and spend? What if every dollar you spend, the taxes paid on that money went back to the community while stabilizing the currency instead of feeding their pockets? Why can corrupt leaders of Earth inflate their currency and print more money as they please? What if there was a set supply that could not be inflated, which would stop the rapid devaluing of our money? And the solution is Grays. Yeah. It's a renounced, immutable, deflationary cryptocurrency designed to generate passive income for holders by staking. I don't think, though, it is backed by the dollar. No, it is not a stable coin.
Okay.
So it's just tied in liquidity with lots of coins. This is a big fashionable pulse chain kind of move because they want to try and pair liquidity with as many coins as possible. So when they all pump, they kind of all hold each other's hands and fly, with each other is the whole idea behind these style of pulse chain coins.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying. I was unsure about that.
Yeah.
So do you ever see Richard Hart potentially wearing a Grey's Alien t-shirt on an interview?
No, I don't think so. He has distanced himself so far from the Pulse community now that he unfriended everybody on Twitter. He hasn't live streamed. He hasn't live streamed since Pulse launched. He only talks now about his tokens, and that's it. Like, he doesn't seem to mention other ones, unfortunately. He said, "You're on your own, do it yourself."
Do you think that's only temporary while the SEC stuff goes on, or do you think he just wants his stuff to dominate?
I don't think he wants his stuff to dominate. I think it is definitely to do with the case, and he just doesn't want any dirt on him. Maybe if that's thrown out, then he would come in and say, okay, this is great, this is shit, this is great, possibly, but I'm not sure. And Richard Hart has that kind of power that he could just say a project is rubbish, and then you'd wake up in the morning and it would be down 90%. So I don't know if I don't know if he'd go for something like this, though. Possibly.
Yeah, maybe if they abduct him, perform a little experiment, and put him back on Earth.
Possibly. But I'm pretty confident that this coin will get at least back about to the probably 3x. I think in the year. I think is easy for a coin like this.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Smiley, did you have other questions you want to ask?
No, I just wanted to remind everybody, if you're watching right now, thank you so much. We appreciate the community here. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so that you can hear every single week our latest round of token reveals. Thanks, monsters.
I think everyone's curious though. What would you put? What's it? PGC? I'm trying to remember what it was called. Anyway, what category would it be in? Meme coin, deepen, DeFi?
Degenerate.
I don't think we have that.
Absolutely degenerate. It says it's an arbitrage LP mechanic coin. So an arbitrage.
I would consider that DeFi then, I guess.
Yeah.
That's kind of the catch-all, right? So
yeah. Guess DeFi, yeah. Building or cult, possibly. It is a cult.
We call it cult tokens, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you can even looking on their Twitter, right? So they have one post from July 20th. They don't have nothing botted. They have like 1,800 followers, and every single one of their posts usually gets 50 to 150 likes and retweets. And it's just natural growth of a project, which is great to see.
We need that kind of cult. We're working on it, but
yeah.
Time to start the brainwashing.
Do we have to trade the sacrifices for likes and retweets?
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. Just, I mean, the whole pulse chain is a cult, so essentially.
Yeah, I see it in a lot of meme coins too. When they do their raids, some of them, even if they're not the biggest community, like in minutes, you'll see them get 50, 100 engagements, and then others, they have 20,000 people in their server, and they'll get like 2 in an hour, and they'll cancel it.
Yeah.
So just shows you quality over quantity, I guess.
Yeah.
True.
Very
We
true.
have good quality here at Monstro.
Yes.
Yes. That's why I popped in.
Yes. We have good quality. We just need a little bit more quantity.
We'll get there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you have your picks?
Yeah. Let's get into ours. So what? I'm going to start with our meme coin pick of the week. So basically, this is very related to what we were just talking about because we chose Teddy Bear on Pulse Chain.
Oh, no way.
So just to remind everyone, we're doing these weeks from the bottom up, meaning our smallest allocations moving on up every week. So every week, the pick gets bigger. So yeah, we have a little bit here, week 2, a little bit in Teddy Bear. And I mean, look at him. How can you go wrong with a teddy bear that looks like that?
He's cute.
Giving me He's giving me reminders of what's that Five Nights at Freddy's, not gonna lie.
Yeah, or maybe a little Ted, for those who remember
That
the
too.
movies or the TV show. But the reason we chose Teddy Bear is simple. We also think at some point Pulse Chain's going to run, and when they do have their run, Teddy Bear is by far already established as the #1 meme coin. It's based on the ugly Louis Vuitton teddy bears that Richard Hart has. I find the animated ones here look a little more stylish than his actual ones, but it's always something where that the more he, if he ever has them in his background in an interview, you're going to see a spike. If he just mentions it again, you're going to see a spike. So it's that type of meme coin. It's by far the #1 one on Pulse Chain. I don't even know what I'd consider maybe second or third. I know there's a few, but if Pulse Chain runs, Teddy Bear should do many multiples from here. If Pulse Chain, doesn't run, then it probably won't do much. So it's really kind of betting on the chain, but instead of, like you said, instead of buying, Pulse or one of the major coins, why not go for something that could 100x or 500x or whatnot? So
Gabo wants to know, please check to make sure it hasn't rug yet today.
they have not.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Teddy Bear's massive, actually. It's a huge community. And
Yeah. And by the way, just for those wondering, Unix, it actually, after that rug on air discovery, it actually ran like 4,000% after that.
wow.
I mean, it's nowhere near back to being, active again. And we're still going to replace it. But it was funny to see that, like, the minute our stream ended, in the next 24 hours, it was up like 4,800% or something.
Did you sell? Or
Yeah, what'd you do?
no, I also did.
No, that's still like a fraction of the, what was it, $200 we spent on it. We'll just hold it. Maybe people will community take over it or something. It is still a great ticker, right? It's $Unix, so someone might grab it. Who knows?
Might be a CTO in future.
Yeah. But all right, let's see if anyone has a question about Teddy Bear. If not, we'll start moving through the other picks. All right. I don't see any, but they can interrupt us later if they want. So we can start with AI, and this pick actually did awesome this week. It's up, I think, now, it fell back down the past 2 days like everything, but I think it was up 85% for the week. So we are looking at Virtual, which is the Virtuals protocol on Base for AI. And what Virtuals does is essentially lets you collaborate and build, mostly for gaming, but you can still have them as chatbots. You can have them as different AI functions. They do art. They do some minimal animation, mostly targeting more of an anime niche. So Alpha Cruise, maybe that's more your thing. We can tell by your PFP. And
yes.
Yeah, it's essentially building better AI collaboratively. They charge per usage, so they do have a real revenue stream. They don't only charge, in their token and such. And yeah, I think this week they ran something like 85%. I know they're up 100% on the month, even after the past 2 days, coming back down. So I know our position from where we bought it is already up about 79%, I think.
Ooh, nice.
So not a bad start considering nothing's really started running. But yeah, this is one of our AI picks. It's something based on collaboration, which I don't see a lot of the other ones have. And what they create is then plug and play AI. So if you have a game, you have an NPC character, you want it to have a certain personality, or maybe there's a character that gets really popular. They decide, hey, let's make this character be in multiple games across different brands in Web3 gaming. All that stuff is possible. It will maintain the same core, everything it's learned across all the titles, and the core way its behavior and personality has evolved. So it's pretty cool to have that consistency. And I think there's probably some creative stuff gaming can do with it. So it's a bit of an AI play, a bit of a GameFi play at the same time. And that is Virtuals.
I think Gabo disagrees with you. He said he got liquidated on ExtraFi on Virtual a few weeks ago when everything tanked. So he said, be safe and just buy Monstro farms.
That Well, for Gabo, that's what being over leveraged is. And we know
Ooh, call him
DJ
out.
Gabo always is over leveraged. So,
So
but
you have to make like an anime style like character, or can it be
no.
anything?
So it's actually you can do just use it for the text component through APIs and through the plugin.
Cool.
So you can actually do whatever you want with it. The only anime component was the animation that they do in the art. Obviously, if you want to use AI art tools, there's some that focus on that much more full featured and in depth. It seems like their niche they were kind of targeting, or at least what they're demonstrating right now, is slanted towards the anime crowd. But that's purely for the animation and art. If you're using it for the actual just behavior and chat text and that type of thing, then it applies to anything. So,
Alpha, did you
And
want
they
to
got
say
staking
something
too.
about it? Oh, go ahead.
I see they got staking too, so another place to go stake our Moonbag.
yeah, there's more and more popping up with some type of yield production from it. So I think we're gonna have quite a few of them being able to be staked.
That's cool.
Also, I gotta disagree with Gabo on saying we gotta buy farms. No, you gotta buy the game ones because virtuals could be in our games. Gotta pump our own bags.
The other thing, they do have a voice core. I'm just looking at their website right now to remind myself. So yeah, they also have auditory elements, right? Different sounds, tones, timbre, and these are things they can include in the characters as well. And then it's essentially a marketplace of them. So if you're building, a game or any type of app, and you need, characters, a AI chat, or you need a character in a game with animation and voice and all that, you can just browse through, find what you need, plug it in, try it out. So yeah, that's what we have to say about the Virtuals protocol.
Okay.
All right.
They got John Wick too. If anyone wants his voice, I think it's his voice. I saw John Wick, so if you want that, go ahead. You can have your very own John Wick talking to you.
All right.
What's he
so
gonna
let's-
say?
Yeah,
Don't be like,
Oh,
he's gonna be like, I know where you live. I
Yeah,
mean,
you
I
killed
don't,
my
but I
dog.
know where you live.
Well, the next pick is our D-Pin pick. And our D-Pin pick of the week is Desync, which is Destra Network. And for those who haven't heard of Destra Network, they do a little bit of everything in the D-Pin space. And I'm going to pull up their site here. So essentially, they do everything from storage to DNS gateways to web hosting, everything from a decentralized aspect, of course. So that's why they're part of the D-Pin narrative. And they've had a lot of people talk about them in the past. They seem to go in like waves where they get some attention, then it's quiet, and then they get some attention, and then it's quiet. And the price doesn't necessarily move with it, but they've kind of established themselves, I think, right now as a name. They've been running a while. The D-Pin is going to be, we suspect, one of the hotter narratives. So it seems like they have a good, I wouldn't say first mover advantage, but they have a foothold. At least they have a little bit of recognition going into that. So it looks like, yeah, they could definitely have potential to move up. And with these D-Pin ones, hard to say, it's a 10x might sound like a lot for some of them that have high market caps, but really depends on the whole narrative. If the narrative becomes a multi-$100 billion narrative or $1 trillion narrative, well, then it's very easy for these ones to move up, 50x or more. So
have they been thoroughly audited?
I would have to look to see. I never
Nice
really care
website.
about audits because we know most of them from experience miss plenty of things, and it's more like a marketing badge than they actually do proper audits. So
Mhm.
I
Well, that's why I'm
personally,
curious.
yeah, like if we're going into something and I'm worried about it, I will vet the contract and maybe ask a second opinion on someone if I'm not sure. But as far as, if any of you out there are auditors, well, sorry to say, most of you don't do a great job.
Well, if they're going to do storage, I was thinking that's something you want thoroughly audited and safe.
I mean, if it's decentralized, right, they're probably going to claim like it's more to be trustless and they're a gateway to it as opposed to them managing it. So
Okay.
it's kind of a blameless game. It's like, no, we provide access to the technology, but we
Right.
take no responsibility for what happens.
Yeah, probably. that sounds.
Yeah.
So you can web host, store NFT, metadata, DNS gateway, file storage, all with Destra. Interesting.
Yeah. Now, I think the more interesting part of it, which might not be the the real revenue production, but I do think the DNS gateway, and I know, they have an ENS gateway. I kind of feel those parts are what's lacking out there. I haven't seen many solutions that deal with the DNS part of it, which is great because if people want to, host a website on IPFS, that's awesome. But if the browser doesn't offer a translation or doesn't support IPFS natively, you're not going to be able to get people to hit it through like common domain names and common methods. So I think the DNS component is pretty important that a lot of places lack, especially when you offer decentralized hosting, you offer ENS support, but you don't offer regular DNS support. You're kind of missing that bridge, if you want to call it that.
What do you think, Alpha? You're the security guy.
I definitely feel like they should have audits, but that would be
Well, I
Web
mean,
2
they might have
audits.
audits.
That would have to be like Web 2 audits, not our usual Web 3 stuff, which is, that's a different kind of ball game. But it does sound cool. Also, yeah, like the difference with IPFS, I know like certain browsers, if you want to access IPFS, you first have to download some modules and install. So that's pretty cool on them. Like that's a whole different kind of story. Oh, I see the app also. Does that mean our Moonbag of them is up, or did we buy in a little too late for the pump? Or too early?
Sorry, did you say did we buy it too early for the pump? We're never too
Yeah,
early
'cause
for the pump.
I mean, they were up a bit ago. What's it, like 25th of June, and then they just dived. So if we
Yeah.
bought during
Well,
that dive, that would be dope.
I think quite a bit did. Like a lot of AI and deepen stuff moved up at that point, and then it all came back down quite hard. Even if you look at bigger ones like Render and stuff, they just in a span of a month went up like 80%, and then they came back down, maybe 60%. So I think it's a more market thing than a Destra thing in this case.
Okay.
All right. Any questions on Destra?
They kind of remind me of what's it, the one that Pelton shared earlier, Flux. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
very similar, but it seems like Flux has a little more features.
Yeah, I think Flux, though, they focus purely on the more of the web hosting aspect, and replacing, what AWS does, like James was saying. They don't do those components like the DNS part and other parts. So I guess here that's just trying to be a one-stop shop, and everyone else is trying to focus on one area of it.
Okay.
All right, let us move on to our next pick, which is, it's an oldie, but a lot of people still think it's a goodie, which is our blue chip pick, and it is Phantom with an F, not a PH. So for those who don't know Phantom, I guess you haven't been around very long, but Phantom is, one of the last cycle's really good performers. They're still in. I don't think there's a lot to be excited about other than they're still so far down from the last cycle. They have a very easy chance to at least come back a few X's to get closer to that. So yeah, I think that it's one of the safe picks in the blue chip category. Most of the blue chips should all be safe, but I wouldn't say there's anything exciting about Phantom on the horizon, other than it's a safe pick to come back up is what we feel.
Oh no, Phantom's really exciting.
I was hoping you'd have something else to add, because I know they've innovated and done cool stuff before everyone else in the past, but they never seem to get proper recognition for it, so it doesn't really go very far.
So in the background over the bear, the reason that Phantom fell so hard, it went down from $3 all the way down to 25 cents in the bear market because of a couple things. One was there was a lot of fake money pumping into Phantom in the last bull run, and they all pulled out basically at the same time just to move into the next narrative. That's one of the big falls just in 2022, right? And then also the multi-chain exploit, which destroyed it because they lost all their stable coins. I was holding USDC in that, and $5,000 turned into like $25 overnight. And for everyone holding all stable coins on Phantom got absolutely destroyed. So that really lost faith. What they're doing now is they are moving to a new coin called Sonic. It will be the fastest blockchain in the world, and it's ready.
I've heard that before.
So for me, the reason I'm really bullish on it is it means that there's going to be a new chart, and new charts in bull runs mean huge pumping. If you take an old chart in a bull run, sometimes they look at the past price and then it doesn't get above the past price, and people lose loses momentum. Same with Polygon's moving over to POL. So Phantom will be moving over to Sonic, and that's happening quite soon. They've already moved all validators over to the Sonic nodes, and now they're just getting ready to airdrop Phantom holders Sonic token, and also move Phantom 1-for-1 into Sonic. So I'm very bullish on that. Very.
Is the logo a hedgehog?
No, it's some cool S thing. I think it's red instead of blue at the moment. They're changing color.
I know I saw a concept for it, but I don't remember if it was a fan one. It probably was a fan one, but I'm like, oh no, this looks like Skechers, the shoe.
Yeah, it could. Yeah. I mean, we can see because at the height of the last bull market, they had $180 million locked in TVL, and now they have. They had $8 billion locked in TVL at the height of the last bull market, and now they have 180 million. So in terms of the TVL of the network, is tiny now. Everyone left. It's a bit of a ghost chain, but that's great because it's at the bottom, meaning that there's only one way you can go.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we're saying.
Wow.
It's a safe pick to go up some X's because, well, nowhere else for it to go. It's just so beat down. It is definitely beat down more than it should be. But yeah, from excitement, I guess I meant from things like they had a lot of innovative ideas for GameFi, for NFTs, for different things in the past. They did a lot of it before many other chains, but yeah, they just seems like they never caught on those chains. So
there's also Andre Cronje, who is the lead dev of Phantom, and he built Yearn, Keeper, Solidly. And Solidly is the farm which inspired Equalizer. Any kind of VE33 farm was created by Andre Cronje. He spearheaded that idea for yield farming, which has been extremely successful now. And he says he has 5 unreleased new primitive models for DeFi, which he is only going to launch on Sonic as well. So it would be 5 new products coming there, which might bring in massive bags. I don't know. That's why I'm quite excited by it. I own so much Phantom.
We only have a little bit in our bag since it's only in the week number 2 pick, but we will hope for big things for both your bag and for our moons.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get a yacht with Phantom. Really, it will happen.
Phantom whale in the house.
Yeah.
Are you gonna name the yacht Phantom?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Phantom of the Sea.
That'd be pretty good. But yeah, I think that's a great pick, to be honest.
All right, let us see what is next. So next is our GameFi pick. We didn't do too well last week with Unix Gaming. So I think we're in a little better spot this week. And we are going with WAGMI Games. So WAGMI Games, the main reason is they already have quite a lot built, right? They have WAGMI Defense, which is their flagship title right now. They have a lot of other things coming, but their strength is in the, I guess you could call it the experience and the name brand of their team. They have people from all over the video game industry, all over different industries. I'll read a few of them out. I know that, they have people who worked on in fairly high roles for titles with PlayStation and Atari, things like Call of Duty, Halo, Madden, Tekken, Apex Legends. They've done stuff with Sega, DreamWorks. I'm assuming that's for their animators. But if you go to their team page, all their LinkedIns are there, all their team, you'll see, they have really, really strong titles and results associated. I'm always wary when some people put on, my claim to fame is we had a $20 million exit I've learned by talking to some of these people, they were at companies that exited and had nothing to do with it, but they still like to advertise that as their claim to fame. So be a little wary of some of that stuff. But yeah, they have, for example, the ex-director of ops at EA. They have people who have millions of followers on YouTube. It looks like they have people like Alex Becker as an advisor. Obviously, type of people, some people like him, some people don't. But obviously, he has a massive following, so that's usually not gonna hurt. So Wagme Games, that's our week 2 pick for the GameFi narrative. We think based on the team there, based on the name value, based on the fact they already have something built, they're not just promoting we're going to build a game, because by the time they start that, they'll miss this whole cycle. Wagme Games, we know they're looking for acquisitions as well, because we had a very brief convo with them about some of ours in the past, and it didn't go very far because, like most people, they just ghosted us at one point. But I will say, they're still in our Moonbag. We forgive them.
Probably need to restart that convo and see if they've changed their mind yet.
I've never heard of them.
Really?
Wagme.
So,
Those were
I
pretty big.
assume it's We Are Gonna Make It games.
Yeah.
But if they mean something else, that'd be interesting.
Crazy chart. 3 pumps.
Yeah,
3
you
pumps,
got to figure.
3 dumps.
Yeah, you got to figure with the fact they have a lot of advisors who are just influencers, that they probably get a lot of pumps and dumps whenever they choose to promote it. So I think that one might be one we'll have to catch it at the right moment to exit. But again, everything we're in at this point, if we're looking at it again next year, we should have had plenty of opportunity to get X's. So we don't, we hopefully don't need to time it perfect to still make a lot of money for everyone. All right. Anyone have any opinions or questions on them, or we will move on? Guess not. All right. So we did Teddy Bear. Now we will come upon our real world asset pick for the week. And this is one that is called Goldfinch. Goldfinch, like the bird, essentially is a lending protocol for real world businesses, and funnels it through crypto lending. So basically it's real yield. It is lent to real businesses worldwide. It is an RWA token. We've seen very little about them. They're pretty small at this point, but they already have some revenue. Looks like, looking right now, their 30-day protocol revenue is about $100,000. On lending, that's not bad for someone just starting out, right? One thing would be if you're planning to put any significant money, you probably definitely want to look at how do they vet the companies they're lending funds to. What kind of collateral do they look for? They're obviously backed by quite a lot of VCs for this type of product, which is very common in the lending business because you need initial liquidity. Looks like they have Andreessen Horowitz, they got Coinbase Ventures, they got a couple other known names. So they're a pick that we see that, again, they have real actual revenue. It comes from the real world. We think RWA will be a good narrative this cycle. So they're pretty small now. We'll just see if the bird flies and tweets and how they do. But at least we know they're doing something with real revenue. Not much more to say about them, I guess.
So you put stables in, and so how is it different to Aave, basically?
So I think Aave, the lending is all on chain, right? And related to crypto. So I guess if you really want to diversify, where, let's say, there was a massive black swan event that crushed things, you have your money at risk through Aave, right? I suppose this is a way to offset that risk to the real world, where there's other risks, but it's, I guess, a different type of risk. And that's really the only difference, I would say. Like, lending is lending. It's just who you're lending the money to and how they're repaying you, and how you're vetting them. What is the collateral? What are the returns? I would say their returns right now are even a little bit less than some of Ave's pools. Looks like 7.6%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they have
17.
almost 100 million in active loan value. So
Mm. That's cool. See, 17% if you lock it up for a few months, though. Like 25, 37.
yeah, I don't know if
In-
locking up is smart with lending protocols. It feels like a disaster waiting to happen, but
Senior pool makes it sound like a retirement program, right?
yeah.
It does.
It really does.
Carbon reduction. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Mhm.
Hey, in crypto, a lot of people like locking up for many years. Safe
Yeah, they
was,
do.
was a thing.
Yeah. Well, I like on there, if you go to the investors page, the first thing it shows is 0% loss rate. But yeah, it looks
Where's
like
that? I didn't see
they use
that.
over collateralization. And the loan sizes are pretty substantial. Looks like the borrowers are in the $5 to $20 million range. So yeah, this is
How do you earn the token? Or do you earn the token? Is the token emission based, or is it
I
just
know it
governance?
was a governance token. I'd have to refresh my mind because I went through about 100 of these for our Moonbagz. Well,
Yeah.
I went through probably about 500. We picked 100.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd have to refresh my memory on this one specifically, but I'm almost certain it was a governance token that wasn't something used generally for most of the utility at all.
Hmm.
Let's see. So it might be more akin to a share in a company, right? Where there's nothing to do with it. And for some reason people speculate on it, I guess, as the pure value.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Can you stake the token?
That's next on our list to go through them all and find which have it. So I don't know yet. Doesn't look like it at a quick glance, but
Yeah.
Does
we
not
will
indeed.
know by next week when we finish our task.
Cool. Guys, I need to go to a birthday party. So I thought I'd just pop in
Yeah.
there,
Oh.
say hi. But yeah.
Is it
Thank
yours?
you.
Party. No, it's not mine. It's my sister's, so I need to go see her.
Yeah.
Or she
Okay.
will never forgive me. But
Well,
I'll
we
try
want
to
to say
do
thank
it
you very much.
next week.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
welcome any week. We love that you join. You have a lot of insight, especially things we don't know. Like for Phantom, you told us probably 10 facts we didn't know. And
Yeah.
always great having you here. So enjoy the birthday party. Tell your sister happy birthday from all your monster friends.
Oh, thanks.
She will probably go,
Cool.
"What's wrong with you?" But
Okay.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again, guys. And I'll
Yeah.
try and see you next week as well. Bye-bye.
Okay,
all right.
bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Richie.
Right.
All right. So now one of you will have to share much more insight.
Yes, sir.
Smiley,
So
good
pick
luck.
up Richie.
Yeah, I know. I'm already sweating over here.
Hey, look, Serenity popped in too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think
Serenity.
David Scott says some of these picks they feel go haywire and give some good returns. We're certainly on that same page. We certainly also hope so. Hey, Serenity. And speaking of birthdays, Serenity had one not too long ago. So happy belated birthday from the Monstro family.
Happy birthday, Serenity.
Let us, without further ado, move on to our next pick, though. We're almost through them for this week.
Yay.
So the next one, we classified it under the layer 1, layer 2, even though you might call it a hybrid and it has APIs and its own ecosystem. Some people would call it a chain. Some people will say it's not a real chain, but it is the Dione protocol.
Ooh.
And the Dione protocol basically prides themselves on the eco-friendly stuff and building sustainable blockchain tech. They've definitely had some good partnerships. They've had a lot of great articles out there in the past. I feel like they got hot. I'd have to go look at their chart, but I think it was in December maybe or January. Let me check them quickly. And oh no, they're out of business. No. Actually,
What?
they've moved into the top 500 tokens on CoinMarketCap.
Wow.
So yeah, they're actually green today when most stuff was not last I looked. Let's see. Yeah, they had their big peak was actually April of this year. So in April they were about 2.5 times what they are now. So not a massive drop. And that was actually I think their all-time high, yeah. So they only began in September of 22. They were on a fairly consistent train, and then they really picked up in March and April of this year, and they haven't come down too far since. So they've done pretty well. They've been pretty stable. They have a $75 million market cap, which is in that kind of nice, 50 to 500 million range where there is still quite a bit of risk, but you're looking at, still a lot of room to grow and to deliver us X's. They are 464th now on CoinMarketCap, and they're just moving on up. It's something where there's a lot to it. If you're interested in the tech of it, you probably want to look at their white paper and their roadmap, which they have both easily accessible from their site. But if not, they have a whole lot of different segments of their product. They give them all names, right? I can see here quickly Odyssey or Orion, Nebra. So they're trying to stick with a certain theme. Anyone into, I guess, astrology or outer space? Not outer space. Well, I guess some of it's outer space. I think Orion is a constellation, right?
Yes.
Odyssey, I mean, that's so many different things. But Nebra, I believe Nebra is also something to do with an evil version of the Milky Way. That's what I remember from a cartoon. But Elysium 88, it looks like they have a collection of NFTs. Only 88 NFTs in their collection. I'm not sure if they have a purpose. We would have to investigate that. But yeah, this is our layer 1, layer 2 pick. This is one that has had strong price action. It's not had massive dumps. It didn't exist last cycle, so this will be its first bull run. And we like to think the ones that are, doing well are of this size, their first bull run, they're going to get, obviously price discovery. They're going to hit an all-time high. So seems like a safe bet, again, to, they're not a strong allocation, but there's something that it could do really well, or maybe it only does, 2x, 3x, 4x from where we just bought it, which is still great. And especially in the layer 1, layer 2 bucket, we're not expecting everything in there to be 50x's. So I think it's a safe play. It's a small play, but it could positively surprise and maybe do 20x or 25x. It's at that size where that's very, very possible.
Do they have any partnerships?
Have to. I should probably make more notes when we do these streams, but
Probably.
They do have a staking program. Partnerships, I mean, it's kind of hard. They list things like Uniswap and Etherscan and CoinMarketCap. So, a lot of places use the term partner loosely. Here, actually, they don't, though. They say featured in. But yeah, I don't see any particular sponsors. Well, yeah, again, these are more, Diamond Swap, Hackin, Green Energy, IBC Solar. So they call them partners. To what level, we're not sure. You'd have to investigate each one. But it does look like, yeah, they have a list of some of them. Mostly looks like green initiatives or people that deal with energy, a few dexes. Nothing that stands out massively other than maybe Team Finance. Team Finance allows people to vest, lock, do different things with their staking pools. So they're fairly large. Ator is an anonymous routing network. So it looks like they pride themselves, I guess, on anonymity and privacy as well. And yeah, at a glance, that's what I'd be able to tell you about their partners. There's one that's lovely to pronounce. Energy Kreislauf GmbH.
Nice.
So I believe that one may be German or Norwegian or Swedish, or it could be totally off.
That sounds something like
But
that.
Dion Protocol, that is our pick for the L1, L2 narrative. And all of these, obviously, if anything about them might pique your interest, all of them have, communities and websites full of information, way more than we can dive into here because we are trying to get through 12 token picks a week. So we can't really spend that much time in depth on any of them. But we invite you to do the famous DYOR and do your own research. And last for this week's picks, and then we have to tell you the guests who are not here.
Yes,
but
sir.
For our in-house one, the last one is, and this falls under the DeFi category, if I'm not mistaken, is Camino Finance. So Camino Finance is on Solana, my favorite place in the world. And
Yeah.
it's actually something we have
sarcasm.
used before a couple of times here and there for Monstrous farming efforts. So it does allow you to provide liquidity. They also do borrowing and lending. They do a bit of perpetuals. They do a portfolio viewer. They do a couple of different things. And they actually do the auto compounding service for farm positions on Solana quite well. We didn't have any bugs or any problems with it, which is unlike any of the other DEXs or services on Solana we've used. So I think Camino Finance is gaining market share and ground. So for everyone that wants to, continue yield farming with auto compounding built in on Solana, there's very, very few options. And Camino is gaining a large market share of that, growing day by day. So it looks like a safe bet that as long as people still like Solana for their own reasons, they need this service, and Camino's basically the one leading the way with this service. So that's why it seems like a smart play.
Okay.
I will just pull up what are they at today. Their token's also not very old. They did an airdrop a little while ago. We were a little bit too late for it, but to qualify for it, I mean. But yeah, they've only existed since late April of this year. They came out with a bang. Obviously, with an airdrop, you're doing that for long-term awareness and holders. So they had a lot of sell-off right away. And they've been pretty steady the past few months, hanging around that 4-cent mark, and a market cap of only, fully diluted of 395 million. But based on circulating supply, they're only at a tenth of that right now. So there's a lot of Camino to continue to be rewarded and emitted on their platform. So do keep that in mind, that if you're looking at, very long term, it's still got a lot of inflation to go. But considering it's new, it occupies a key role on a key chain, a key ecosystem. I think it's going to do well for this particular cycle. So.
Hey, V, can I ask you, how do you think the Ethereum ETFs are going to affect market sentiment over this upcoming year? Do you think they'll make any kind of impact on your picks?
On the sentiment, not really. I mean, it's something that it's always those, buy the hype up and then people just sell off when it doesn't suddenly make ETH, double overnight.
Right.
And the same happened with Bitcoin, and all these are advantageous in the long term because they're offsetting. In Bitcoin's case, the ETFs were getting most days inflows that were matching or higher than the mining. So now you're slowly getting to a point over time where you're decreasing the inflation to a point you will become deflationary. And that's only good for the token and prices, right? So
right.
I think ETH too, it's a long-term thing. It won't make anybody extra excited for it. We already saw it was a kind of nothing event. I don't even think we got that much of a pump into the event. So
it was over $1 billion worth of shares traded yesterday. That's not terrible. I mean, it's only 20% like of Bitcoins, but it wasn't bad. No?
Yeah, but when you compare it to the outflows, for example, just of one of them was 450 million. It doesn't really help, right? Like we didn't see the price go up, we saw the price go down actually.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I don't think anybody, now that it's passed, it's just one of those events that it's good it's passed, it's in behind us. And over time, it's just another way for money that wouldn't otherwise access it to get in. So I think it's only a positive, but it's not it's not going to excite people overnight. Like there's no major pump that will come from it. It will just be a long-term benefit,
Okay.
in
So
my
funny. It's like,
opinion.
it's a good thing that's over with. We're done
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. Now, if we
Out
can
of
get
the
a few
way.
more things out of the way.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions, anybody, about Camino or the other picks?
I mean, it looks like they got staking, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Say hi to Sulizaki. You're late, but we'll still let you in. And then, yeah, we have 2 more guest picks. The guests, obviously they can't be with us all the time every week. So, they're free to come and go as they like. But if they're not here, we won't really try to talk for them, but we'll at least let you know what they picked.
Right. Okay.
So, Magic. Who wants to play Magic? Smiley or Alpha Cruz?
I'll do it.
Okay. Well, you look
Okay.
very different than the last time I saw you.
Yes, hello. It's so good to be here
And
today.
your pick is
My pick is
Meta Zero.
Meta Zero. Yes, that's correct. It is a decentralized open source platform that utilizes ZK snarks. Sorry.
What a snarks.
Can you please explain these ZK snarks to us in depth?
Zero knowledge, succinct, non-interactive arguments of knowledge technology. So basically, they enable privacy-preserving transactions and supposedly very secure authentication. So the token is the native currency for the network, and they have staking and governance, and just they incentivize participation in the ecosystem. And that's basically all I know. It's not really my pick, but what do you guys think?
I think that was very well done for not your
thank
pick. Well, we know everything to do with privacy, and we'll probably throw this to Mr. Alpha Cruz. He
Right.
seems to be a security privacy advocate, I've heard.
Very much so. I mean, if I could use Monero, I would, but that's kind of a problem these days. With none of the exchange listing them anymore. But it is what it is. We can still mine it, make money on that. I'm not saying we should. I'm not saying we should. Please don't come at me with that.
All right, so Alpha, you're on the spot. How many X's is MetaZero going to do?
I mean, let's look at the token price. I would say probably at least 25. It looks like it could.
Wow.
Looks like it got that
Wow,
potential.
that's a bold prediction there, Cotton.
Look, it looks
Hopefully
like it's
someone
doing
got that
well
reference.
already. And the market cap ain't that high. It's only like, what's this, 2.8 million if I'm looking at the right one? I think so. I hope
Well,
so.
I know Magic liked it a lot, obviously, because it's in his basket. So, you know what? If he pops up next week or the week after, we will save the question for him to see why he picked it and what he thinks it will do. So we don't just speak on his behalf for no reason.
Right.
I feel
And
like it's going to be like it's going to moon 300%.
we will go with AJ's pick. So AJ's pick for this week is GDEX, which is Dex Finance's governance token located on Arbitrum. For those not familiar with Dex Finance, they work closely, I believe, with AJ and provide things like vaults and auto compounding and different services for DEXs, essentially. And I believe we have our Spark Swap pool with Monstro that's been just sitting there auto compounding for a while now. While the price is, low, we spoke a lot about Pulse Chain today, how it hasn't really done much as of late. So we're just letting that one continue to auto compound using Dex Finance. And yeah, this looks to be their governance token. So I don't know much about it. It's AJ's pick. But Alpha Cruz, you can be AJ.
Yes.
So tell us about it.
Dex Finance. Pretty sure that they partnered with Dex Finance. Like AJ is one of the creators and all, but Dex Finance uses a whole lot of vaults and Pulse Swap, what is it called? Spark Swap actually has quite a few vaults over on Dex Finance, and it's got a lot of potential because it's across multiple chains, which means there's a lot of potential for the governance token to go, just ape as soon as Pulse Swap. Pulse Chain also gets a little more activity because again the token is across multiple chains, if I recall correctly. I mean, I have to double check, but it's just got a huge amount of potential because vaults are going to be a thing that everyone will want to get into sooner or later, since most of it are auto compounding. I mean, most of the Spark Swap vaults are auto compounding, which means, it's just like you leave it be. You wait, you come back in 6 months, and then you probably would have made money unless the tokens went to, zero.
Yeah, so auto compounding is great in the fact if you're leaving it for a long time, you'll probably not end up losing any funds, right? Again, like you said, unless the token does terrible, at some point it doesn't have to come back to where you bought it because of the compounding of the yield. So it's great to do long term. Short term, I think people overrate it. Sometimes I hear people saying like, "Oh, even if we compound what we get every day for 1 week and then pay it out." Like, no, if you do the math, it's so negligible. It's sometimes it doesn't match up even with the fees you're paying. Especially with vault providers, they often take a performance fee of maybe 10%. So it's really, really difficult to, unless your APR is super high, for short time periods, it just doesn't make sense to compound yield. And then the other thing is if you're a program like Farms where you are paying people weekly, then there's not many of them we want to use auto compounders for positions unless the yield is so low we're not currently taking it, we're just letting it continue to grow. And that's what we're doing with the Spark Swap right now. If we were taking Spark Swap's yield, it might be like $30 a day at this point, which is not really worth it when we can just keep stacking that Spark, hoping it gets a run in the future and then multiplies, which is what we did with Alien Base, and it paid off for us when they had tanked like 90%. When they dropped that far, we stopped taking daily yield from them. We simply manually compounded it every day for the couple of months it stayed at that range. And now when it grew back up, we were way more up than we would have been had we been taking like $20 a day. So it really is situational. But I feel like, yeah, the auto compounders are great for long term. If it's short term, I don't know. People just don't use the daily compound calculator, I guess, the famous one a lot of us use. But Evan, who knows that calculator, can picture it. And I'm sure I've used it on everything from their ROI dApps to farming. And yeah, for short term, like you'll see the numbers. It makes really no difference when you offset it against any fees, any potential gas fees, things like that. You really need to be using it for a long time period.
Okay. I don't know a lot. I just know that it's a layer 2 on Arbitrum. And every time I talk to a dev about Arbitrum, they always like it. So I guess that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's very fast. So
I wonder if Arbitrum's going to do anything. I don't know. It seems to just be there. It's not.
Don't they have like a few big plans coming up?
Yeah, it had a lot of hype, right? And then it just kind of, like everything, faded like the market. So
yeah, after the Nitro and what was that other thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's also a question. Do we, Monster, is Monster in any kind of auto compounding things that just, leaving it to auto compound for a while, or we just don't do that at all?
The one I literally just explained to you.
But that's manual, isn't it? Oh, you mean Dex Finance?
Yeah, our Dex Finance Spark Swap Vault is auto compounding right now, and it's not taking its minimal yield. And it will keep doing that until Pulse Chain has a run and Spark Swap goes back up and everything, hopefully. But we think it will. So yeah, that's the one we're using right now that's auto compounding. We're not using any others, but for anyone out there, popular ones include Beefy, for example. They've been around for a long time. They're very easy to use, right? They have tons of, probably hundreds of millions of TVL at this point, I would assume. So all of them, though, you got to look at too. Like if they take a 10% fee, if you have a lot of money in there, and some places make it easy to compound with a button, do you want to use an auto compounder, or do you want to just hit that button once or twice a day and save 10%, which could be thousands and thousands of dollars over the year, depending how much you're investing, right? So it's kind of a decision you also have to make. What is my time worth? And see if you want to do it manually or do it on a service that charges you that type of fee.
And on the chain, because if you're on Ethereum, it might just be better to do that auto, pay that 10% instead of paying like $5 every time you need to compound.
That's right. And exactly. Some of them share it, right? They share the fee amongst all the people in that vault. So that does help on Ethereum a lot. Whereas other chains now, the gas is getting so minimal that it's basically a non-issue. Speaking of, we can just share that today Base announced that because their last improvement worked so well, the gas is about to get cheaper and the network faster once again, as they've changed one of the settings once again. I don't know if they changed it today or they announced today they're changing it very soon. But whichever case it is, it just means Base just got faster and cheaper.
Yay! Good for us, because that's where we're moving.
Exactly. So it's already quite cheap, I would say, but now it's going further.
Nice.
It's insane that it can even get cheaper from this point, because isn't it like it's like
hey, I
almost
was
as
trying
cheap
to do
as
our
Solana?
We were doing our payouts today for Monstrous Payday, and Rabbi told me I didn't have enough gas in the wallet, which is fine. I just converted BNB, but it told me you are not eligible for free Rabbi gas.
Oh, you whale.
Oh, that hurts.
I don't know what their criteria is, but they didn't give us free gas.
That's so mean of them.
Yes. Oh, well. Well, I think that was it.
All
That
right.
wraps up our picks, right?
Yes, it is. So anyone out there who wants to say anything about anything today, or ask any questions, we'll give you 2 minutes, and if not, we will end this stream. And thank everyone for coming. We tried this week without prizes to see what the difference it would make, right? And that'll be interesting to see. See how much the views are different and see how many unique users and such. So we're always experimenting over here at Monstro.
Also, come and hang out with us in the Discord. Here's the address down below. Super easy. Just join and hang out anytime you want. You don't have to do anything, or you can chat. You can ask questions. It's a great place to be. So, because we're not really on Telegram too much, but we will be moving there when we launch our token.
Also,
Yes.
don't forget, 11th of August is Monster's 1-year anniversary. Going to be one very exciting day. And yeah, we're going to make various talk all day, so you get to hear his voice.
And I hear that one will probably have prizes.
Yes.
Nothing guaranteed, obviously.
No more guarantees, just surprises.
Right.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Seems like we are good for today. So everyone enjoy your Wednesday, or maybe it's Thursday. Alpha Cruise, is it Thursday for you yet? Not yet, right?
No, not yet. In like 2 hours or so.
Okay. And then, speaking of moving, as someone mentioned, I'm not going to be homeless anymore. So I have a new home.
Yay!
So
And bullseye.
we will not have to miss any paydays.
Good. Good to hear. So happy.
Yeah.
Thanks,
All right,
everyone.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye, guys.